Hi everybody, Ali Akbarian, your resident road safety expert from Mobility Engineering, back again with another Q&A. Thank you very much for tuning in and sending in those questions. We love them, keep them coming in. And as I always say, we would love your support to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button that looks a bit like this down there and help us get to that 1,000 subscribers. And we'll get a new one of these and maybe some other bits and pieces. All right, so today's question is all around transporting a bariatric patient. So bariatric patient is a patient that is 150 kilos plus. So in this case, we had someone who was about 165 kilos. And basically what they were asking was, this patient, they transport inside the vehicle on their own. What do we need to do? Like, how do we need to get them in there, and how do they need to be restrained, and what do we need to consider? Because this is the first time we're dealing with a patient like that. So there is three main things that we need to consider when we are looking at transporting a bariatric patient that sits on the actual car seat themselves. So number one is accessing the vehicle, right? So number one is accessing the vehicle. How are they accessing the vehicle? So is this patient in a chair that's being pushed around or so on? Like, are they in a wheelchair or a scooter, or are they actually walking? So if they are in a chair, then what we need to do is we need to make sure we have a suitable chair, like a bariatric chair. This is not exactly a bariatric one. They would be a little bit bigger normally. So we need to make sure we have a suitable chair. And also the chair is, how does it get into the vehicle? So we've got this vehicle, in this case, we have a lifter. Just going to lock the brakes so we don't lose the wheelchair. We've got a wheelchair lifter, and this wheelchair lifter is rated to 350 kilos. So the wheelchair, let's say, weighs about 50 or 100 kilos, and the occupant weighs about 165 plus kilos. So that's 260 kilos. This is a 350 kilo rated lifter, so you're okay, right? So you've just got to make sure that you check the ratings of the lifter and check the combined weight of the occupant and the wheelchair to make sure that they suit this lifter, right? If they're going to be in an electric chair, you'll probably find that they won't suit it because electric chairs, particularly for the bariatric patients, are very, very heavy. But in this case, you shouldn't have too much of a drama if it's a lightweight or a manual chair, right, that you're pushing along. Come around to the side of the vehicle, because that's how we would access the vehicle if we were in a wheelchair. But if I was walking, I would access the vehicle through the standard door, right? So if I had mobility within my legs and so on. However, I need to assess a few things to make sure that it is still able to be accessed. So first and foremost, is the height able to be stepped up, right? So in a lot of cases, particularly with vans, even for standard everyday people, the height is quite high. So what you're going to need is some form of step. You can either have little step platforms like this one that come out. You can have steps that fold down. That might be what you need, or you may need some form of grab rail system. So like a custom-made grab rail here, or a grab rail there, or a strap, or a grab rail on both sides for them to grab and pull themselves up, right? So we need to ensure that there is support to access the vehicle, right? And once they're inside the vehicle, there also needs to be further support inside the vehicle. So you might have grab handles on the roof, straps hanging from the roof or something like that, so they can support themselves while they're trying to navigate into the seat of the vehicle. The vehicle can be quite small, particularly if you're a bariatric patient and you're quite large. That environment is very, very small. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to cut the video and then go to another place where we're going to show you what we do inside the car using our training setup. All right, so we are back now, and we have set up a little bit of a training jig using our training seats and setup and props. Basically, we have a training facility here at Mobility Engineering. Little shameless plug on that, but we're just using this to sort of pretend or simulate we are inside the van. So this double seat, you may recognize this and go, I've seen a seat like this before. This is actually the double seat that you see in the back of Toyota Hiace commuter vans, and Toyota Hiace commuter van is the most popular wheelchair accessible vehicle on the market, like those big wheelchair vans. So most likely it's going to be a seat like this that they're going to be sitting in and using in a van if they're a bariatric patient. So anyway, let's get to it. So we are inside the vehicle now, so we're pretending we are inside a van, and we need to transfer from our wheel. We've come in with the wheelchair. We're a wheelchair-bound bariatric passenger. We've come in and we need to transfer over. So we need to do a couple of things. We need to make sure we can remove and move these things out of our way, so we've got the right type of thing. And then if we are in the wheelchair, how do we transport over? So particularly with bariatric, it's pretty unlikely you're going to have to be able to be supported up because it's very heavy for someone else to carry. So they're going to need to be able to support themselves. So they might need to have some form of slide board to help with sliding over, right? In addition, what we would recommend is, as we said earlier on, some form of grab rail or grab handle if required. So maybe they might have some form of grab handle where they pull themselves up and prop themselves onto the seat like so. And there'll be maybe like a strap or something hanging off the roof. So you've got to make sure that environment is set up to support with that element, right? And that's also the same as if the wheelchair wasn't there, and let's say they were accessing the vehicle, like I said, through the side door, and from the side door to that chair is quite a bit of distance. So they need to make it across. And so if they don't have the ability to make it across this far without support, we need to make sure those supports are in the vehicle, grab rails, grab straps, whatever it is, so they can make it to the seat. Once they're in the seat, then you have the seatbelt that they need to wear. So the seatbelt is extremely important that they wear that seatbelt at all times. However, in some cases, the seatbelt actually doesn't reach, and it won't reach all the way around. So what they need to do in those cases is get a seatbelt extender. So the seatbelt extender is a very simple device that basically just does what it says, extends the seatbelt. So we'll demonstrate that here. So let's say it's actually not working, this buckle, but let's just say we pretend it did work. It would sit somewhere like that. And if I was large and sitting a lot further forward, and that was sitting over there like so, then this would allow me to reach that buckle and give me that extension to have that in there. And again, it's not working because it's the wrong size, but you would get the right size seatbelt extender, extender that actually works with this, but it's a little bit of a muck around during the training, during the videoing, but that's fine. You hopefully get the point. You've got to basically add the seatbelt there, add that extender, and extend it outwards so this reaches all the way around that bariatric patient. And so we've got a seatbelt that secures them. They've been able to transfer into the vehicle safely and support themselves while transferring onto the actual seat as well, because that's how they're driving on the actual vehicle seat, in the back of the vehicle. So hopefully that helps with your question. Sorry for the muck around with the seatbelt extender. The reason why it wasn't fitting in was the tongue was a slightly different shape to the one that was on this training prop. So I'll have to use another one next time to have the correct one, but you get the message. And any questions, as always, please get them coming through and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.